¿Lista? During the golden age of sea voyages, European sailors saw Leviathan as a gigantic whale, sea monster, or generally a sea serpent that devoured entire ships by swimming around the hulls so quickly, creating a whirlpool. There are those who draw a parallel between Leviathan and other mythological sea creatures, such as the seven-headed Naga from Hindu and Middle Eastern mythology. In Satanism, Leviathan is considered one of the four princes of hell, along with Satan and Belial. It is a sea beast from the Old Testament, often associated with Satan, created by God. The term Leviathan has often been used today as a synonym for a great monster or creature. In the Talmud, the Leviathan is already mentioned in Avodah Zarah. There are 12 hours in a day. In the first 3 hours, God sits and studies the Torah. In the second 3 hours, He sits and judges the world. In the third 3 hours, God feeds the entire world. In the fourth 3-hour period, God plays with the Leviathan. Imod Katan is also mentioned. Rav Ashi told Bar Kepot that it will be said at my burial, he replied. If a flame can bring down a cedar, what hope does a small tree have? If a Leviathan can be hooked and dragged to land, what hope does a fish in a pond have? The Jewish festival of Sukkot, the festival of tabernacles, concludes with a prayer recited before leaving the great Sukkah. May it be your will, Lord, our God and God of our ancestors, that barely, for I have fulfilled and dwelled in this Sukkah, so may I have the merit next year to dwell in the Sukkah, from the skin of the Leviathan next year in Jerusalem. Leviathan was a giant fish made on the 5th day of creation. Its story is closely related to the Baba Batra of the Talmud, where it is said that the Leviathan will be destroyed, and its flesh will be served as a feast for the honored in the time to come, and its skin will be used to cover the tent where the feast will take place. The legend says that at the banquet, after Armageddon, the shell of the Leviathan will be served as food, along with the behemoth and the CIS. There is another religious hymn that is recited at the festival of Shavuot, celebrated in the Torah, known as Aktamut, where it says, the sport with the Leviathan and the behemoth ox. When they lock onto each other and begin the fight with their horns, the behemoth will gore with force. The Leviathan will leap to confront him with its powerful fins. Their creator will approach them with his mighty sword, and he will kill them both. Thus, from the beautiful skin of the Leviathan, God will build the pavilions to shelter the honored one who will eat the flesh of the behemoth ox and the Leviathan in the midst of great joy and happiness at a huge banquet that will be given for them. Some rabbinic commentators say that these passages are allegorical. Likewise, in the apocryphal Book of Enoch, Leviathan is described alongside Behemoth, and on that day, two monsters will be separated, a female called Leviathan, who will dwell in the abyss above where the waters flow, and a male called Behemoth. And she will occupy with her breasts a vast desert called Dandain. Leviathan can also be interpreted as the sea itself, with its counterparts Behemoth, which is the earth, and the CIS, which are the air and space. Some scholars have interpreted Leviathan and other references to the sea in the Old Testament as highly metaphorical references to sea marauders. Formerly terrorized the kingdom of Israel. Some Jewish legends consider Leviathan to be an androgynous dragon who in his male form seduced Eve and in his female form seduced Dan. In the Christian interpretation of Leviathan, he is often considered a demon associated with Satan, and some speculate that this is the same monster as Rahab. The biblical references to Leviathan seem to have developed from a Canaanite legend, which involves a confrontation between Adad and a seven-headed sea monster, which Adad manages to defeat. It also resembles the Babylonian creation epic Enuma Elish, in which the storm god Marduk kills his mother and the sea monster, and the goddess of chaos and creation Tiamat, and creates the earth and the heavens from the two halves of her body. Some biblical scholars believe that Leviathan represents the pre-existing forces of chaos. Psalm 74:13-14. You with power divided the sea and crushed the heads of sea monsters. You broke the heads of Leviathan and gave him as food to the sea turtles. Genesis 1:2. God led behind the waters of the pre-existing earth and destroyed the chaotic sea monster Leviathan to shape it, deform it, and mold the earth to his liking. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the surface of the waters. Some interpreters suggest that Leviathan is a symbol of humanity in opposition to God, and it is no more literal than the beasts already mentioned in Daniel and Revelation. In medieval demonology, a Leviathan is a water demon that tries to possess people, and these cases are difficult to exorcise. Additionally, the Leviathan can also be interpreted as the sea itself. According to the writings of Father Sebastian, Michelis Valveri is the demon said to have possessed Sister Madeleine. He told the priest not only who the other demons possessing the nun were, but also which special saints would serve to oppose them. Leviathan was one of the demons named by Valverit. He also said that his adversary was Saint Peter. For St. Thomas Aquinas, Leviathan is the demon of envy and the first devil assigned to punish the corresponding sinners. There are many legends and points of view about Leviathan. For example, sailors or those who were part of the golden age of sea voyages. They saw Leviathan as a gigantic whale or sea monster that devoured its crew after destroying the ship. Leviathan and its legend influenced the culture, art, and literature of modern Western civilization. The work, titled Semial by Thomas Hobbes, discusses the social contract and forming an ideal state, the Commonwealth. Many works have been dedicated to figuring out why he named his book Leviathan, and one of the main reasons for this is influence and fear. In England, during the time of the powerful Spanish Armada, before the disastrous expedition led by Alonso Pérez de Guzmán, El Bueno y Zúñiga in 1588. Largely due to the influence of the classic work by Herman Melville, Moby Dick, the Leviathan has come to be associated by many with the sperm whale, as a result of the behavior these animals can display. An example of this is in Disney's depiction of Pinocchio, where he is swallowed like Jonah from the Bible by a sperm whale, despite the fact that in the original story Pinocchio was swallowed by a pesci cane, translated as dogfish or shark, and Jonah by a fish. In the same way, there are those who draw a parallel between Leviathan and other mythological sea creatures, such as the seven-headed naga from India. In Peru, the remains of a large carnivorous cetacean were found, which could have measured between 12 and 17 meters in length and had teeth up to 30 centimeters long. It was named Leviathan melvilli. The use of the word to describe any sea monster has even led to its real existence being believed in cryptozoology as an unknown creature. In his book In Search of Prehistoric Survivors, the cryptozoologist Dr. Carl Zucker considers Leviathan to be a myth inspired, at least in part, by sightings of a hypothetical sea monster similar to a mosasaur. This was the legend of Leviathan, El Documentalista. Remember to follow us on social media and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's very important that you do so in order to receive notifications when a new video comes out. Add me or write to me on Facebook. I personally and gladly will answer your messages. I want to hear your ideas, stories, opinions, or just have a chat. Please help us share the videos. Thank you for your support and for watching this video to the end. Thank you and see you next time.